I would not have done this, especially if I knew how hard it was, how much work it was. And one of the projects that was in the festival was a web series called Gringolandia. And I looked at this project and we showed it to our panel, and it was it was so good that we created an additional category because it had to be best. You know what I mean? And I knew that this project was going to do extremely well. But it actually exceeded my expectations because they got a deal with Netflix. Y'all can clap for that. It's just like, we don't want to interrupt it, but no. That is definitely clap worthy. So it just turns out that, when post-COVID, we had to postpone, and I wanted to make sure that you guys got the full Miami Web Fest experience, which is why we did not take submissions the whole year. We just suspended everything, like suspended animation, and just like bring you guys back to life in 2021. And thankfully that is what happened. And so it felt like a rebirth. So I started thinking about who was there at the beginning. And of course, I thought about Cristobal Ross, who was the creator of Gringolandia. So without further ado, I'm going to present to you Cristobal Ross.
Take this off. So this is me, right? Yeah. Can I just? Okay, can you hear me? Okay. So I don't want to be like this. Like, can I just like? That's it. All right. Perfect. Thanks for the invitation, Brian. It's been a while.
Thank you for
since we
coming.
saw each other in Buenos Aires, and I'm really excited to be here. We're a great turnout, and I had this presentation actually, but I don't think I'll be able to for you to see it. But I'll just like use it as a guideline. Maybe I'll show some stuff like if I feel like it. But I'm gonna tell you the story of just like as Brian said, of how we ended up being on Netflix. Just like a proof, like that's a show that's on Netflix. It's not there anymore if you want to try to look at it. It's not there anymore. The deal was only like 2-year deal. All right, so I think I'll start from scratch. I'm not actually a filmmaker. I didn't study film. I'm an industrial engineer. Yeah, I'm from Patagonia, from Chile, really south, very, very cold. And I just like love film. I guess like most of people here, I don't know if you have a background in filmmaking. Have you already made a web series? Most likely maybe you have, or you're in the process of taking your web series to the next level. I'm going to try to cater this panel so you can get the most out of it, like most advice. So if you feel free to ask me questions, like interrupt me, I don't care. Right? I'll be also open to questions in the. So my background is not filmmaking. I just like love film, and I worked for an airline before for like 3 years with Mackenzie's, like a consulting firm. I learned a lot from them. And then suddenly I just like wanted to quit. So I did. I quit and I moved to New York. I thought at the beginning I guess like to study, but then I realized that like even if you have to study, you get the tools, you have to do something anyway. So I said like I'll just like get the money that I saved to study and just like do it. All right. So I started as a PA at a really like lame agency, just like making coffee, which is like fine. It's like I learned a lot from it. But just like starting from the bottom, and also joined like another like crew of like independent filmmakers that wanted to make it like from scratch, like no money. So I learned from both ends of it, like agency that like shoots commercials like for like a lot of money and then like doing it for nothing. And then I just like sat down, and I think like this is something I recommend, like a tip, to write down your goals. I mean, like, it's so hard to get lost in like, why am I doing this? You started doing it for a reason. You don't know if that's the right reasons or not. And when I started, okay, I just like, if you can see, that's Patagonia, that's where I'm from. That's where, okay, so I wrote this, like 4 goals, right? So the first one, like it says, just like make it, right? So the first thing I said, okay, like, it doesn't matter how it goes, just like the process of like starting something from zero to being something, it's valuable enough that I along the way learn a lot of stuff. So I just set the goal. The first goal was just make it. And okay, so but what's to make? So there comes like a little bit my engineering thing, because like I wanted to learn like from script writing to producing, directing. I want to learn everything that they would teach you at school, but just doing it. I don't know, it's like do it yourself kind of thing. So there's a concept that like maybe you find valuable in the startup world, which is called MVP. I don't know if you've heard of that concept. It's really powerful. I use it a lot. So it's a minimum viable product. Every time you start like any type of company, if you apply for grants or whatever, this concept comes along, and it's really interesting because like it tells you, it makes you have some hypothesis. Like, okay, I'm the hypothesis that like I'm going to speak for myself. Like, can I direct something? Can I write like something that is like valuable? Can the audience will like find this valuable and like watch it, share it, comment on it? Can I make a living out of this? Can I make a budget and like follow through and like actually make it with little money? Because like I guess like most of us here like don't have like lots of money, and if we had, like, we wouldn't be here. So all this hypothesis, like how do you prove them with a minimum effort? Because like, I don't know, maybe you have an idea and you want to start a web series, and you say, okay, this is like a 10 episode, like a 10-minute each. It's a lot of money. You start doing that. That's maybe not the idea. And there's another concept here that like the content lives for the audience. It's like it's not complete until it's seen and it interacts with it. So it's like a two-way thing. It doesn't exist by itself. So it needs to be alive to actually have value. It needs to be put to subject of like, interpretation and like to an audience. So you have to figure out what's the minimum thing you can do in order to prove that. And then when the audience reacts to it, then you have like feedback. And then with the feedback, you improve, and then maybe some of the things that you thought that were valuable, they're not. And you surprise yourself, like, oh, they found this interesting that I didn't know of, and then you build on top of that. So that iteration, it's really important, and since we don't have unlimited resources, we need to do it like the most efficient way possible. And that's where that concept comes from. So if it's a startup, you want to start like with any kind of product, like let's say juice bar or whatever, you're not going to set up like rent a place in a big, highway and like, hire staff. You don't do that. You make one juice and you make it your brother to try it, whatever. And if they like it, or someone like a stranger, and then you build from that. So that was the first thing I did. So I have written some stuff. And so my MVP were 3 videos that I did without the main star of the show. I came up with this idea of the show, but instead of like making the show, I just said, okay, can I shoot something? Can I cast? Can I write? So before making it big, I just casted a few actors from New York. And I wrote something that it would be like a, how do you call it when it's like the preamble, the prelude? Is that it? Prelude?
Prelude, yep.
Yeah. All right. Of the series. They were talking about the main character, which would be a Chilean going to New York. It's like I like, since I'm not a scriptwriter, I like bought books of scriptwriting, statements like directing, and they said some of them said like write what you know. So that's a really good advice. I mean, like you can Google it, like it's the basic one. So okay, what did I know? Okay, I'm a Chilean in New York, so I'm just gonna write about that. But it had like a lot of like also interesting things because like I would be speaking to a really broad audience, like all the country. You know, it's not like a niche thing. It's like okay, globally it's a niche, but I would be speaking to any Chilean that confronts to a different like culture. So that's like a fish out of the water kind of concept. Also, that's really easy, basic advice. So I made these videos that were 3 videos. I shot them like in one day or one morning. I didn't know the actors when I did it. I just like feed them the lines. We improvised a little bit. We put it together and we uploaded it on YouTube without doing anything. And the videos went viral. Like at the moment, like 7 years ago, it got like 100,000 views. It got us like 20,000 followers before even shooting or before even doing the web series, right? So that proved a lot of stuff, and that made me realize like what the strongest characters were, where are the weakest ones, where should I put all my effort, and also build an audience from scratch. They wanted to know what's next. So I think it's a good advice. I had the video here. It's really short, but I'm not gonna show it. And maybe later we can show it, but it's not everyone's gonna see it. But it's a comedy. It's really short, and it was shot mockumentary style. I'd also recommend that format if you're like shooting comedy. The show, Gringolandia. Yeah, if you show Gringolandia, this first viral video. Can everyone see it?
We're going to show it at the award ceremony, so everyone can see it.
Cool. Right. So this video was called. It is called. ¿Qué piensan los gringos de Chile? So what do gringos think of Chile? So that sparks curiosity. Okay, it's about the audience. It's about me, a Chilean. I'm watching this on YouTube. What do gringos think of me? Of course, I want to see it, right? So it had inside jokes. It were foreigners talking about me. So everyone kind of liked it. So I don't know. It just it worked. So from then on, it's okay. So I can write something. I can shoot. I have a crew, which is really important. Having a team. So then going backwards to what I wrote day one, I wrote first, make it, the first thing, and then I wrote, be proud of what you make. I wrote it in Spanish though, this is a recreation of what I wrote. But what I wrote is be proud of what you make. I mean, so this refers more to quality, trying to do something that has the potential to be sold and everything. So from then on, that's a cute picture of the team. It's a lot of people. They were all really excited about the project. And so this is the premiere, actually, of the first season. Right? I was invited to a festival in, where was it? I don't remember. But it was 400 people. I was lucky they were showing another movie. They didn't come to see me. They were showing a Michael Cera movie, actually. I have a picture of Michael Cera here, right here. All right, so the thing is be proud of what you make. It was important for me to have a goal, not to be obsessed with money or obsessed with the audience. First, me, I want to be proud of this, and it doesn't matter what happens. So I think that also made all the team be committed to actually make something that they were proud of too. And we had a really awesome chemistry with everyone involved in the project. The main plot, if you want to talk about a little bit of the show, it's called Gringolandia. It's the first season was 6 episodes of 5 minutes each. By that time, they were really short. Most of the content was maybe 10 minutes. So I tried to make it really short It was really hard to write something that like has like 5 characters in 5 minutes. We shot it over 5 days. It took us. It cost me like 15 grand. That's like budget. If you want to talk about budgets and everything, so I think it's good to know like money. We're not talking about money. I think it's good to talk about money. It's like 15 grand. That's what it cost me, including the viral videos. So 5 days shooting, and what we did also is that we premiered everything in the same day, because like, and this is a lot of like me, my background as an engineer, like tackling like paradigms sometimes. So Netflix started doing it with House of Cards. I don't know if you remember, but like it was the first series that was released all the season at once. And at the beginning it was like crazy. I mean, like people, I mean, crazy because it sounded weird, it sounded different, and people react like that when something different. But like if you think about it, it's like perfectly sound. It's so smart. What I needed from the season 1, I needed views. That's where it comes from. The next goal that I wrote. So I wrote, make it, be proud of it, and then reach a lot of people. So to reach a lot of people, you need to maximize the views. If you're like releasing one episode and then a week after another episode, most likely they're gonna lose interest. You know, like, so the views will go down. And I said, okay, if they like the first 10 seconds of it, they're gonna watch the whole first episode. And if they like the episodes 5 minutes, why not another 5 minutes? And that's it. So that's how it happened. Still, the curve, it goes really, like, goes sharp low, you know, like, so this is the first episode. It has 606, what is it? I cannot read English numbers. 650,000 views. And the second episode right away is like 380. So it almost like, it goes like down by half right away. It sounds like, you know, the opposite of like what we were talking about, like, oh, you make one and then you make the second and then you get like the third. The reality is, it's, as I found, it's like the opposite. Like it starts high and then like it's hard, even harder to get it. If you see a graph of just an episode, people start watching and you lose interest right away, maybe 60%, 50%. On Facebook, they go to 30%. On Instagram, they go as low as 20%. You know, so this is what reality. I'm not like making this up. So when you write something, it's not the same 3-act structure that like usually they teach you. You know, like you can start like as an establishing shot, and then you're getting, you know, everyone introduction to the characters, and then you start. That doesn't work on the internet, for my experience. You need to like you have to make a mix, but first 10 seconds are really important. You need to be funny. You need to be relatable. In the really first, you're gonna be visual. That's really hard to accomplish. I mean, like I spend a lot of time thinking of what the first 10 seconds are. And like nowadays, it's even more with TikTok. You know, like TikTok, it's like crazy how like, well, Instagram too is stories. You just like have to see how you consume content. I mean, like, I guess like you don't like give every Instagram story the 10 seconds that it deserves, right? You just like 1 second, the first frame, and then if like something catches your eye, maybe you go back. Like that. At least I consume it like that. I don't know if you. So all the script writing rules, I think they're obsolete for the internet world, and you need to be updated and like use data, which is something that's really also part of this new world. That like before, you didn't know when the audience left, you didn't know what they wanted or what they not. And now you have a graph that tells you exactly in which minute the audience leaves you. So when they're not interested. So actually we used that information for the next seasons. We knew that like one of the characters, people like, you know, the curve was like this and then lowers that a little more. So we cut that character. Don't tell the actor, but like we did that. We noticed like they didn't like it. So we're using data. That's why like I tend to apply a lot of engineering things to my work, and yeah, we use the information that they give to make it better. And Netflix does a lot. All the platforms do it. I mean, like they know when you're out, know like the click-through rate. They know what's the best thumbnail. Thumbnails are really important. I mean, like if it's like the movie poster, you know, you have before even like thinking about a movie, you're already thinking how the poster looks. Same for the YouTube thumbnails. Okay, I'm a little rambling here. So the fourth thing that I wrote was make it pay for itself. So I didn't want to lose money with this. I want to recover my 15 grand. And I tried really hard, I gotta say, before shooting. So since I have these viral videos going on, I went before shooting to some brands to offer for their products to be incorporated in the series as branded content. I don't know if you know that like term. So branded content is the like an organic balance between the content, like entertaining the audience, and the brand communicating whatever they want to communicate. So that balance, actually, we try to do it. We put the product in the thing, and at the end, the client didn't like it. He said it wasn't a good fit. The main character didn't convey the values of the brand or whatever, and I had to take it out. Actually, they didn't pay me. I put the brand. It was hard to take out, but I did. And so I was like just about to premiere it, and then like losing the possibility. And then I got 2 clients, like the same day that I was premiering. I gotta say I cried that day because like I was like in front of like 400 people, and I got a call. This is not like this is not false. Like I got a call right when I was like about to premiere it, and these 2 brands agreed on being on the series. One of them is like a online shoe company, and the other one's like a real estate thing. They didn't have anything to do with the series, like nothing. The only thing that they had in common, and this is really important, and I guess it's one of the biggest takeaways that I would take from this like 8 years so far that I've been working on this, is that this is like an emotional business as anything. I mean, it's about people, it's about who you know, it's about just like touching their hearts. So it happens that the 2 decision makers from this company, they love the content. They really love the series. And they were touched by it, they had fun, they thought that like this, I don't know, charisma, whatever that they felt that Gringolandia had could do good to their brands. And that was enough for them to convince their bosses, or maybe let it slip like no one's noticing, I'll pay them, and or to think of a way of doing it. One of them, they pay me by click. So at the end of the series, I put something like, hey, if you wanna get like, I don't know how it was, but like cheap shoes or something, you click here or whatever. So right, so traffic, they pay me for traffic, and the other one pay me by view. So I said, okay, like if it doesn't go well, you don't pay as much. If it goes well, you pay me, you know, according to how many views we got. So those were my 2 first clients. And well, from there, it was much easier because like I recovered the money, and with the same money, I could do a season 2. And on season 2 was much easier because like I already had brands in it. So no one wants to be the first. That's kind of like a thing, you know, who's like, I don't want to be a fool. People want to feel that they're secure. So after having those 2 brands, I could like make a season 2 with branded content, which was, it's a sausage company. They make like, sausages mainly. Because the main, okay, let's go back a little bit. The main shoes, real estate, sausages, you know, it's funny, it has nothing to do with it. So the main story is that this Chilean goes to New York and sees that hot dogs are just like a hot dog with mustard. And where we put like avocado, we put tomato, like mayo. We make it different. So for us, it's weird, and everyone like traveling to New York would say like, "Hey, this is hot dog," you know. So his idea was to bring Chilean hot dogs to the U.S. So makes sense that a sausage company, a Chilean company, would be the one sponsoring. So there was like I don't know showing there, but like that's their brand. We make it like in a way. This the hot dog stand. It's just like a thank you. I'm like so thirsty. Well, so thanks to that, we got a lot of clients. Some of them for the series, some of them for us like looked for us like to make viral content for them. By that time, I already was like back in Chile. I just like lived 2 years in New York, and then Netflix, happened, and I wish I could say, oh, I planned for this, or it was something that I was like hoping for. By the time we made the season 1, Netflix was just like a catalog. It didn't have original content. So I looked at it like at the beginning, I didn't write it out, I want to be on Netflix. But when we finished season 2, we went to a festival. I have the picture there. The classic picture with like this. But this is the LA Web Festival. And we met some people. We went to a party in Hollywood, and we met this guy that worked from Netflix. I didn't know he worked from Netflix, and I pitched him my series. What do you do? I do this. This is my series. I showed him. They were super short. From 1 minute, he grasped like a little bit of it. He liked it, and we kept in touch. And it took from then, like long story short, like 2 years, like conversations. I made season 2, and then when we made season 3, the deal was to put together all the 3 seasons into 1 season for Netflix exclusively for a period of time, because they were so short. Netflix at that time had like a what do I call it, like 17-minute like minimum for each episode to be. So we put together 3 episodes, so it's like 5 plus 6 plus 5, blah, blah, and we barely made it. So the season that is on Netflix was like 6 episodes, 15 minutes each. So it's like barely like made it. That's why it was lucky, you know. Like I met the guy, I was lucky, you know. Like I could, you know, like put together all the seasons together to make it fit in the Netflix format at that time. So. And they paid us just enough to make it. I mean, like, I know you all want to hear that I'm a millionaire or something. No, that didn't happen. I barely paid for what it cost to make it, but I got other clients on top of it. Like the deal we closed included me being able to get branded content on top of it. So the new clients that I got, we could make some money, at least like pay for ourselves, with me and my partner at the time. So that's basically the story. And like, why do I put that? Because like after that, we really were broke. So it's not a sad story. This is a start of, you know, how they work. But yeah, like after 3 seasons, really like, okay, I made it. Finally, I'm on Netflix. Yeah, we were really broke. So then, we applied to a startup grant, and this is not part of the story, but like then I founded this company. It's called Nano. Right now we have like over 3 million followers in all the social networks. Instagram and Facebook are the biggest ones. We have 1.1 million on Instagram, 1.4 on Facebook, and we make a lot of content. I mean, like we made really short content. That's why it's called Nano. We made videos like based on like the news, daily news, really fast, like from the last 5 years, we produced like 5 different web series. Most of them financed through branded content. Some of them just for fun. I have some like. We are the agency of 20th Century Fox and Warner in Chile, so we made the campaigns for all their movies. We're like Fox is gone, but like Warner still it's up, so we're still their agency. With this really fun thing, I don't know if you've seen this movie called Why Him. It's James Franco and Bryan Cranston. So what we did, we took the movie and we subtitled it in Chilean, which you would do. Like it sounds like it's like same as Spanish, but it's not. It's like really slangy. So we subtitled it in slang, and it really caught like the people's attention. We sold double of the projections that we usually this kind of movie has in Chile. So that was fun. I just like telling it because like it's fun. Yeah, they were like in the premiere. We made like cheap web series shot with a cell phone. Like South Park animation kind of stuff. We made another web series about startups. You know, they say, hey, like, write what you know. Okay, I wrote this. And I directed it. For Facebook, they were even shorter. At that time, Gringolandia, 5-minute, sounded like super hard to write. It is, but then we wanted to push boundaries, and this one's like from 1 to 2 minute long, 5 characters, 20 episode web series, like made shorter, you know, made for Facebook. And then we switched. We did a spin-off of one of the characters from that series. It's called Sylvia, and we did a web series just for IGTV TV. Just like so, it's vertical, shot with a phone. I'm just executive producing. This is just like only woman like team. Which makes it like so much like so different. We were talking about like diversity and everything. We didn't talk about that about women in film and how well there's no women directors. There's like it's all that kind. So we really wanted to tackle that. And this is one of the most popular web series now. We're shooting now a special episode that now coming to what's now like film like. It's with COVID. We just talked about COVID, right? COVID shut down the cinemas, and we saw that like as a opportunity because like if you're a filmmaker and you go to the cinema with a distribution company, first the cinema takes half of the ticket. So if the ticket's like $10, $5 just for the cinema. Then from that. The distribution company takes it for the marketing and for programming the movie in the theaters. And then you get like $1 or $2 per ticket. But now with COVID, like most of the people are locked down, they need something to watch. And there's these platforms where you can charge the same money you can charge for a movie, but you take all of it. So you cut all the middlemen, so now the distribution companies are gone. You do your own marketing. So we're making this new movie, which is based on an old movie. And I don't know if you know the deep fake technology, that like you're switching actors' faces. So we're taking an old movie and we're deep faking it with Chilean actors, putting it on top of them. So yeah, we're almost finishing this. It's been like a whole adventure of like 2 years trying to figure out the technology and everything. So they're dubbing their faces, putting in old, it's a zombie movie. And so okay, that's the new business model. All right, I don't want to take more of. Oh, it's like really late, but I didn't want to take more of your time. I really wanted you to ask me questions, like so I can speak something like tailored to your reality and not like what worked for me.
Well, let me tell you, I don't know about you guys, but when I first started this, all I wanted was to get a deal with Netflix. Mm-hmm. So, the fact that you did that is very inspiring, and I think just that alone, deserves a round of applause.
Thank you, guys.
All right, so we got some questions. I guess you could just pass it on down the line since we're all...
Yeah, thank you for your time. This is a really interesting story. I'm curious about the sponsors that you got, because I know approaching companies for sponsorships, you kind of have to have something to offer. And so especially, for those first two companies, you said they liked the content, but, I assume you still kind of had to have something, that they really wanted. And so, what were you offering there?
Yeah, I skipped that part. I knew them,
Oh,
those guys. So yeah, it sounds like I made it. Yeah, like that's how you do it. Like I knew the guys.
Basically, this industry is about luck. And who you know.
Yeah, and who do you know? Yeah, but that's why it's also like coming to these festivals. It's interesting. Networking is so important. Just like that's one of the takeaways from this. Like you go to events, meet people, keep in touch with your old schoolmates. I don't know. Like I guess and it's about luck too, because they just loved it and they were willing to, convince their bosses to do it. But there's just like the spark, I was willing to put them in the thing without even them paying, so enough to not so the rest of the brands would not be the first ones. So maybe if you know someone, maybe you also can go and do it for free, just to show that like someone's willing to put their brands in the thing. Yeah, I don't know how it would work here, but because like the US is so big, and how do you get to a big brand, but I guess like there's a lot of like local brands that you can go to, and like if they like what you do, they're gonna do it anyway. Okay.
There are companies that will try to pair content creators with a brand to make that happen. I can tell you about that. My question was around how you broke through on YouTube. It was really, thank you for your story. And I'm also a data nerd, and I had to look this up while you were speaking. But 7 years ago, there was about like 300 hours of content uploaded per minute onto YouTube. And so it was still amazing that you broke through. That was amazing. But today, there's like 500 hours per minute uploaded onto YouTube. And later on in your presentation, you kind of went into like Instagram stories and these Facebook Watch and all these different places you're now kind of executive producing and putting content out. So my question is actually around, what should we be doing now? Like, is YouTube over?
Yeah, I hate YouTube. I've never liked it. I hate it. I mean, the algorithm is so hard to understand how it works. You got to be really constant. I don't know. I was lucky that that happened, I guess. Now, of course, TikTok is a good school. I mean, to get to know how youth is consuming the content more than the actual mechanics of it, because the mechanics of TikTok, I've been trying to understand it. Believe me, I'm not a consumer, but I really, of course, every time social media comes, I try to understand it. So okay, the trending audios, that's specific for TikTok, and it's so hard to do fiction there. Instagram allows you to do fiction. You can have 1 frame, 2 seconds to introduce a character and tell a story. TikTok, since it's based on the audios, most of them, and the ones that go viral, they're usually attached to an audio. It forces you to build on top of that, and there's no much room for fiction there. So I think it's really hard to actually try to get it. What I would do is I would get stars from TikTok, people who are are talented, that you might reach out, that live in the same place that you do, and make them try to star from something that you can bring to TikTok, but also to Instagram, because Instagram is also something powerful still. I would go vertical. I think for old school, it's no, it has to be a wide screen and everything is so hard. But reality, everything's vertical. I mean, this is how you consume content now. And so instead of going against, what it is, this is what it works now. So TikTok is a good school, like to see how people consume the content. Not so much, I think, for creating fiction for it. Maybe discover new faces, discover people. I think is a good way to go. I don't think Instagram is going anywhere anytime soon anyway. So Instagram, I think, is solid for the next 2 or 3 years, at least.
Since it sounds like you know a bit about TikTok, and I'm like just trying to put my head around it. And I'm thinking like this does seem to be the new medium on the scene. Where, like, I'm sorry, I'm losing my voice. You guys all got me crazy. Okay, sorry. This is better.
Yeah.
So my question is, you were just saying there's no way to do like narrative on TikTok, and I understand that, but is there a way that you could still use that format to kind of at least introduce the idea of what you're doing and promote it so that people would say, what is this? And then like go follow you and then like figure out what it is. Like a mysterious, just like drum up mystery about who this person is, and then you find out like later that it's actually a character and they're in this web series. Is that like how you would do it?
That like could be.
That's
but
how
I
you
wouldn't
can do
put
it.
that much hope into it because like
Okay.
the algorithm, how it works. This is also like what I think it is, but there's no correlation between the amount of followers and the views you get from your TikToks. All right. So
Yes.
there's no. I don't think it's random. I think there's like people like like with a Tinder, like looking for content and like doing like swiping left and right and seeing like, hey, this I like, this is TikTok content, this is not. And that's why if you make a TikTok account, try, I don't know if you have. Do you have any TikToks? Does anyone here have TikTok? I don't know.
I did notice what happens that if you put something up, you have to use hashtags. The hashtags what they grab to put in your For You. And so like if you like something, you get flooded with the same thing of whatever that was. And that's how I do think if you put up a character for 10 minutes and you said, or not 10 minutes, it's one little video, and you said, I da da da, and you had some kind of hashtag that would latch on to like a topic that people are trending in there, it would take off.
Yeah.
And then you want to drive them to your show.
Yeah.
would be
Yeah.
my
For that,
2
yeah.
cents.
Like to drive it from one place to the other. Yeah. But it's unpredictable. Like
All right,
if-
one more
if-
question.
Yeah. You should try it. You should definitely try it. And
You can't lose, right?
All right, 2 more. Go ahead.
How are you? Thank you for sharing your story. Very interesting. I have one silly question. So you said you were broke after Netflix, right? But I'm guessing not, because this might be just a yes or no question. Answer. All the brand capital you built for being in Netflix, is that what drove your next success with your company and whatnot?
if it broke,
Like, would you would you consider the success you have now based on your Netflix?
yeah,
brand?
definitely, yeah. I mean, like not only because like okay, I recover some of the money, it made me, but from not prestige, but like I guess like if you're Netflix, it like gives you some like credibility. It gives you some credibility, but yeah.
Yeah, your brand. That's what I mean.
Yeah,
Your
so
brand.
that
capital.
but that runs out. I mean, like it's not like eternal. So you really need to make good decisions, business decisions after, in order to actually do it. So what we did, we got a grant with that. We used that credibility to get a grant and from the government to build this new startup. That's how like we built Nano, the other platform.
Hi, thank you for being with us. I had a few questions. One, you mentioned this graph that you use to ascertain exactly how many people are viewing you and whether it's on an incline or decline.
Yeah.
Is that on a particular website? Is that a program? What is
YouTube,
that?
Facebook, Instagram, they all give it to you.
Okay.
If you're a creator and you post them, they'll show you. You have to just like analytics, they'll show you.
Okay. All right. Did you have the same analytics for Netflix when you were on as well?
No, Netflix didn't even
They don't
give us like who watched it or anything.
Interesting. Okay.
They wouldn't give you not to me, not to anyone. Like Aziz Ansari was like complaining that he didn't get the numbers, so no one's getting them.
Gotcha. Okay. And secondly, in regards to Netflix, I understand that you were very, very excited when you first got your deal with Netflix. It was at the inception pretty much of Netflix. I don't know if House of Cards was even on then.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. So, all right. So it was a little bit after that, I guess.
Yeah, a little after that. Yeah.
All right. So since you actually had your show on Netflix and you went through that whole experience, what would you do differently if you were to go back and speak to the younger you about that deal? And would you want to work with them in the future? Yes or no? And why is that?
No, I don't want to brag, you said, but I think we did awesome. I mean, like, I closed the deal, like, and the guy actually told me, hey, this deal you're closing is like, we've never done this. I don't think we're never going to do it it was just luck, I guess. Because like, he told me, hey, like, take the deal. Right? Like, I was like trying to negotiate the thing, and he would go like at some point, like, hey man, like, take it. And I'm like, all right. So I was trying to get more money out of them, but like, I just couldn't. But enough to pay for the production, which is like, at least something. Yeah, welcome. 6 years ago, 7 years ago.
Alexander said,
No, and I think no one else did. I Googled after YouTube to Netflix. It wasn't. They were trying to tap the Latin American market. They didn't know how to do it. They wanted to get in each country. So this is also like something to learn from, like more when you have this contact with the decision makers. It's like they teach you to pitch your idea. And your idea is only good for you until you get your foot in the door and you get a meeting. And when you get a meeting, stop and don't pitch anything. Just like ask them questions. Use that time to get information from them. Because like this is what happens all the time. You go to whatever, like a network executive, a boss, someone like you're applying for the job, anything. What do? You go and say, hey, my show is so awesome. It's about this. You're so passionate, like looking for the PowerPoints, and the people is like, all right. Okay, we'll give you a call, right? That's it. Instead of, you go and say, oh, thanks for like giving me your time. What are you looking for? Oh, no, but show me your show. Okay, but 2 more questions before, like, how do you have budget for this? Okay, do you make the decisions? No. And only these 3 questions, like, what are you looking for? What do you want? What do you need? Are you a decision maker? If you have money or not? Interestingly, like, people love to talk about themselves, so they'll start talking. And most likely, they're going to tell you stuff that, like, there's no way you could have known. And they're going to help you understand whether like your show is a fit for them or not. And then at least you get some answer, because like most likely they're not going to say if the fit is not there, but you'll have your answers. You'll be like peace of mind. You'll know, hey, my show is not good for this. Or, which is like sometimes it happens, they tell you, because like people love talking about themselves. So if you ask them, they'll tell you, and they'll tell you, we're looking for this. So maybe, okay, how about next meeting? My show right now, it doesn't tackle your needs, but I have a friend, or I can, like, do something. Give me another meeting so I can give you what you want. And that's how, like, usually, like, sales work, because, like, usually selling, and this is not like they don't teach you this in school or anything. The sales is about, like, listening, and more than, like, talking. So and it's so hard not to, like, you've been working for the projects for like months. You have all this PowerPoint, you have all this, and you want to tell someone, but like, don't do it. Just like, and then if you end up like showing it, you cater what you're saying depends on what you already heard in the meeting. So it's different, you know what to leave out of the conversation, what to stress. So okay, I could go on for like, but like.
Well, we hope that you will go on at tonight at the party, at the after party.
Yeah.
And we hope that we see you tomorrow at the award ceremony. We'll see you, correct?
Def.
So let's have a huge round of applause. I'm already standing, or as a matter of fact, I'm gonna sit down and stand up just because it was that good.
Thank you.